All right, and we are back here on Hip Living, and I have a special guest on today's program that I've really been looking forward to having on Hip Living. And you know what? You know, we have the guest on today's program. He is a renowned Richmond novelist, writer, producer. He has a production company. He is the one and only Manny Tribulation, a.k.a. The Ghost, the original Ghost, here on Hip Living, man. Nice to meet you,
Thank you for having me, brother.
Well, where do we get started? Well, you are a novelist. You're based right here in Richmond, Virginia.
Yes, sir.
Man, you've written several books. I don't know which book to start with. I actually came across you by way of someone else, someone that has a Methodist church down over the south side, and you were doing some work.
Okay.
And he gave me your flyer right here, and I was looking at it, and I was like, wait a minute, man, I got to check this brother out. And the first thing I did was to pick up one of your books. And I'm going to tell you something, people out there in the viewing audience, you really got to check out his work. There's quite a bit, and there's so much to go over in terms of his work and everything with his books. There's a whole lot of great stuff in your books based on some things that are going on in Richmond. But let's just get right to it, you as a writer. And what drove you to get into this, to do these books?
Well, I had a lot of time on my hand, first of all.
Okay.
I did some fair time.
Okay.
And I started writing in prison.
Okay.
Serving a 10-year prison sentence.
Okay.
And what really started me was pain, man. I was dealing with so many issues.
Right, okay.
And the pen was my only outlet.
I got you.
The only outlet.
So
that was the motivation.
Okay, okay. And that's interesting what you said when you talk about that pain.
Yeah.
Because what I've always heard is some of the best art, some of the best creativity comes out of going through that pain.
Yeah.
And the great thing about what I notice about your writing is how you create these stories. You know, they're real stories.
Mm-hmm.
And like you say, they come from a place, they come from pain. The thing about it, though, that I wanted to get into about your stories, even though you say fiction, what I tell a lot of people when it comes to fiction, there's fiction and there's fictional. Mm-hmm. If you know where I'm coming from, you want to get into that a little bit?
I think every writer, the inspiration comes from real things that go on.
There you go.
Personal
life.
And of course, I mean, my work is so personal.
Right.
You know,
Okay.
Tribulations of a Ghetto Kid, for instance.
Right. That was your first book.
Was really based off, I really lived that book.
Right.
Yeah.
And the thing about that, and what really got me with the book, now the book that I first read, the one that I got into that really, I'm going to go ahead and pick it up real quick and can show you this one. The name of the book is called Mass Appeal. Okay. And this is the one that I zeroed right in on. And what really drew me to this book, it was very heavy on some real deep stuff regarding advocacy, regarding activism, regarding being a leader, which I thought was remarkable when you came up with that character. Because a lot of times when we think of leaders, especially, let's be honest, when we talk about black leaders, we got this mold of what a leader should be. And what you did with your books, you got this particular character that comes from a place similar to what you talk about, coming from some pain in a situation, and it's almost like a calling to become a leader. You want to get into that? What kind of created that character where you came up with this?
Well, of course, Mass Appeal, this book right here.
Definitely showed him that.
Man, I thought about this book several years before I wrote the book.
Wow.
Like 7 years.
Wow.
And I just want to say this first before I go into
that was the first one. Yeah.
This is
thanks for mentioning that.
This is like maybe 15 years before Mass Appeal.
Right.
So I had to get all this out the way first.
It's like
to get
building
to
up to this. There you go. There you go. I'm glad you brought that up.
But I'm a very read brother. I like to read.
Right.
I love history.
Okay.
And these books, and this is the sequel.
Okay, now I got to get that one too.
These books were basically inspired by real life issues, things that we are going through as a people, you know, every day, man, in this society. That's what brought these books about. The books are very heavy, very serious, and Nat Turner, he's the main character in the book. Right. You know, history always repeats itself. As a people, man, we've been going through so much in this country, and a lot of our issues have yet to be dealt with. And so that's why you see, you know, when you turn on the news today, man, it's just like it's war. It's crazy out here.
And it's very relevant, because the thing I'm going to tell you, that the reason why I said what drew me with this, I was watching something on TV, Independent Lens, and like you, I'm into this whole history thing.
Yes, sir.
And they had something on that about the Black Panthers, right? I looked at this book and it said Nat Turner. And me knowing the history, when we talk about the Black Panthers and all these other groups and everything, and what got me was how you got deep into some things. And another point I want to make is instructional. Anybody out there, if you're an advocate or an activist, and this kind of like based in Richmond a little bit, it's almost one of those things, the names have to change to protect the innocent, because there's some familiarity in there. Because I was reading some of these characters and I'm like, I kind of know that person a little bit, or I kind of, that situation, I can relate to that.
Yeah, I definitely, you know, I put you there, man. I like to put my readers right there. You know, I want you to feel me. I want you to feel what's really going on. You know, you know, my writing comes from a very deep place. You know, and like I said, man, this first novel, I wrote this novel angry. Literally. I mean, tears literally dripping down my eyes as I was writing. You know, so that's, you know, the motivation is deep, man. It's deep.
And that's definitely great. And the other thing I notice about your books is with the characters, and this really says a whole about your genius when you write. You got the main character, but the other thing is you got these other characters.
Yes, sir.
In the book. You could almost break away and take that one character and say, you know what, I can break away and do a whole story on this guy.
Man, you read these. Yeah,
so
I can see you read. Yes, sir.
And so that's kind of like what you had in mind?
Yes, sir. I mean, you know, most writers, they always have like one character, right? One main character. You have supporting characters, but you don't go deep into it.
I got you.
You know, I really don't see no other writer out here like me. I tried to do something different with my approach.
And you definitely
And you know, I just wanted the reader to be thoroughly entertained, you know, and informed. And so it's just like, I can't even explain my writing process. I just started writing.
Just write it. I got you.
And you know what I mean? It just comes from a deep place, man.
Like you said, that's artistry. It's sort of like it's there, the thought that comes to you. And you like, okay, you just go for it. You let it. It's almost like a spiritual type
sir.
of thing.
It's deep. It's definitely spiritual.
And you just let it just take you on, and it's like
it's more of like an assignment for me. I feel like, you know, the things that I was brought from, the average person, man, wouldn't have made it through. I just feel like this writing for me, man, it's more like an assignment. You know, it's definitely no recreation.
That's definitely a great thing, like you were saying, like, and we mentioned, like you said, with these characters and everything. And you pretty much take us through the process of like how you get to these writings and everything. You know, what's the process? Is there? I mean, I guess the question is this: okay, when you wrote each one of these books, all right, which one of the books stand out to you as far as most memorable experience in you writing it? Probably gonna be the first one, of course.
Definitely the first one. Tribulations of a Ghetto Kid.
And what distinguishes them? Which, for example, because there's one in particular I want to get into too and talk to you about.
I wrote this book at 23.
Wow.
I wrote these books at maybe 30.
Okay.
So I grew a whole lot. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I grew a whole lot. I was like a baby writing this book, and you can tell the difference in the writing. You know, when you read this book and this book years later.
Okay.
And I was actually about to, because as I grew with my writing, I started looking through this book, and I wanted to start just chopping it up and editing, and taking a lot of the like curse words out.
Right.
But I said this. I want my readers to see where I was at.
Right.
I want my readers to grow with me.
There you go.
As I'm writing and growing as a writer, I want my readers to grow as well. So I kept it just like that.
That's great. That's great. I'm going to touch on something else.
Okay.
Now, this book is not necessarily fictional. It's based on a true story.
Yes,
I'm going to get to that eventually someday.
Okay.
Cold-Blooded.
Oh, yeah.
Now, share with the viewing audience what that's about, because that's some familiarity if you're from the Richmond area.
Yes, sir.
And we got you to that.
Cold-Blooded, the New Year's Day Massacre, is actually a book that I wrote in 2006. And the book is about the Harvey family and the Baskerville family murders that happened in 2006.
Wow.
And, excuse me, my connection to the murders or the actual crime or whatever is that my family is the people who turned the actual murderers in. And I basically gave them a voice. I wrote their story because there was a lot of crazy stuff going on around that time. They were put under silence, couldn't talk about it. So I just wrote my family's story and gave them a voice, basically. For those who don't know, man, my family is responsible for the arrest as well as the conviction of those guys. And so it's all documented in this book right here.
Okay, Cold-Blooded. Okay, and like you said, that happened right here in Richmond,
Virginia. Right here in Richmond, Virginia. And they tried to boycott this book as well. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they tried to boycott this book.
Man, okay. Wow, that's something, man.
Yes,
Yeah, that's definitely. Then you have another book, Firebug.
Firebug.
Talk about that.
Firebug is, if you like Steven Spielberg, this is like a psychological thriller.
Okay.
And it's about a nurse, RN nurse. She works at a hospital, and I don't want to get the story up, but she goes through a dramatic event, man, and it's one of those books. A definite movie, man. It's one of those you have to read the whole thing through.
So you're definitely covering a whole lot of ground with this. You're doing kind of a mystery.
Fiction's best kept secret, man.
Okay, that's what you call yourself. Ghost Fiction's best kept secret. Wow, that's great, man.
Yeah, Black Girl Found.
Okay.
This book right here, when I was in prison. Okay. I wrote this after Tribulations. This was my next book.
Oh, okay.
In 2004, maybe. Okay. But the way I started writing this book, it was a guy on the radio. I was listening to my radio, and a lady called up, a lesbian called up, a lesbian woman called up, and she was crying to the radio host about she had cheated on a girlfriend and got pregnant, so to speak, right? So as I'm listening to it, the host asked her, so what are you going to do? And the lady immediately said, I'm not having this thing. That's what she said about the baby, right? Oh. So I'm still young, but at this time I've been in a few years, and to hear her express, the baby say thing about the baby, it hit me. I've never been touched this way. It affected me so much that I woke up the next morning writing Black Girl Found. So that's the motivation. And this is like 4 books. This is just the first. Yes, sir.
That goes to show you there's a whole lot of stories out there.
Yeah, man. Motivation comes from everywhere, man. Everywhere.
Now, something else I want to ask you is kind of interesting, because I don't know, maybe it's my own observation, maybe it's just me. But when we talk about novelists and where we are today, now I know in the 90s it was a little bit different. We talk about male novelists. And right now, when you say novelists, it's females mostly. Yeah. What from your position and where you are right now, what has changed since looking at the 90s when you talk Omar Tyree and a few other people, but then right now when you say male novelists, what do you think is going on with that?
I think we need to read more.
Okay.
I definitely think we need to read more. The only reason I have all these books right now is because I was a reader.
I got you.
Had I not been a reader, I wouldn't be an author. That helped me a whole lot. But I don't know, man.
Which brings me to my point. I probably lead me to the point here.
I knew you was up to something. Okay.
Right, because you said throw down the guns, pick up a book.
Yes, drop the guns, pick up a book.
Drop a gun, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
There you go. Right. Yeah. And so what got you involved there, and how is that going right now?
The motivation behind the nonprofit foundation, I was a victim of gun violence as early as 14. Right. at 14 years old.
Okay.
Again at 16 years old.
Right.
And I've lost countless friends, man.
Yeah.
So many friends to these streets, to guns, to violence.
Right.
And so when I went to prison and I started writing these books, you know, I wanted to be more than just an author. I didn't want to come up off my community and, you know how some of us do. We, you know, we come up and, you know, get the money and we leave or whatever. I wanted to really have an impact on, you know, the youth.
Right.
And I know, you know, I did a lot of destroying out here when I was in these streets. So I feel partly responsible for a lot of the things that's going on in the streets.
Okay.
So Drop the Guns and Pick Up a Book, man, that was just reading saved my life, writing saved my life.
Right.
You know, that's my story. And I can tell that to the next youth and show them, man, that there's other options out here.
Right.
You know, you don't have to be in the streets, man. You're more than just, you know, what you think you are. Really a king.
Right.
It's needed, man, you know, to look at the violence out here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And like you said, the thing about a book, I think the irony sometimes with this generation is because we live in such a information age. And a lot of times when people think about getting information, it's always the internet, which is not bad, don't get me wrong. But when you sit down reading a book, it marinates. You know, you can carry a book with you and it marinates. You're actually reading that story, you're reading about these people and these characters and everything. And you're sitting down there looking at it and you're really, really thinking about it. And again, the thing that I think is so extraordinary about your books and why I encourage a lot of people out here and the reason why I really was hyped about having you on this program is you're local. You're right here in Richmond. You're talking to the people.
Right here, man.
You're right here, and a lot of the stories you're telling, even though, like I said, I keep saying fictional, even though you said fiction,
yes, sir.
There's so much about it, even I can relate to it. You know, I came up in Gilpin Court, you know, 1963 to 1980 something. So that's a long time, and you know, that whole thing that you're talking about, going through in the 90s and everything, with me, it was the whole crack cocaine thing, and here you are, coming into the 90s, and you know, in this, and it's just so great to have somebody to write about it and tell these stories. Because a lot of people just don't understand. When you're telling a story, a lot of people want their stories to be told. You follow me? And it's all right sometimes to have people tell stories, the celebrities and everything, hip-hop and whatever, big celebrity. But to actually say, this is Richmond. That's extraordinary. You know?
Man. It's a lot of, we have so much talent here, man.
Right.
You know, that it's been overlooked.
Right.
But I'm gonna keep pushing. I won't be denied, man, because you know my heart is good. It's in the right place. I really care about my people. So I know we're gonna be successful out here, man.
Which brings me to this other thing.
You're
Against All Odds production company. Talk about that a little bit. What's that all about?
Against All Odds production, founded by myself. I started because I've written so many stories over the years. And I just want to start making film now. I want to turn them into film.
There you go. I like
so
that.
I bought me a camera, and that's what I do now. So I've added producer to my resume now. So I do short films, anything with film, photography, photos, interviews, whatever. You know, I had to learn that because what I learned upon, you know, when I came home from prison, I couldn't just be an author. I had to actually brand myself, and I couldn't afford to keep paying people. So I had a nice motorcycle. I sold that and bought a camera. And that's how the production company started.
I like that. I like that. You know, like you said, you brand yourself, and you're telling the stories. You got this format of telling it, and then you putting it in film. And I think that ties into something else when young people see that.
Man.
You know, you right here, and they're seeing you do these productions, and you're like, you know what, man? Let me check that out. You know, out of curiosity, you know?
One of the things, man, I would love to take, I got so many ideas that I would love to get the schools involved with. So many of our youth, you'll be surprised how many of our youth don't want to be in the streets. Just like myself, man. When I was out there, I didn't want to be there. There was no positive role models where I came up at. Nobody to show me anything else. All I saw what was around me, and that was the hood. You feel me? So it's so many other options. And I know through creativity, writing and film, I would love to do to partner with the schools, man, to where we can get the kids involved, so they can actually act in the film. That's something that they could add to their resume. When they're looking for jobs.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, so they need something like that.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Because when you talk about education, people have different inclinations, and I think one of the areas, and like I'm all about the engineers and the doctors and the professional people like that. They are people, but people got inclinations and gifts. And I think one of the things that happened with young people, and we probably went through this as we were coming up too, something happened where it was more about testing them. SAL test, standardized test. But you might have an inclination to write. You might have an inclination to be an engineer or mechanic. You might have an inclination to be into movies. But it's all about presenting an opportunity. You got to put the opportunity right there. You got all these different options. Get the kids the options. And as you pointed out, where you're taking this right now really is about service.
Yeah, man.
You're saying you're doing something, it's all about service. And anything that we do when it comes to our passion is like we created to do it and to pay it forward and share it. And I might even get that from a lot of your writing, your characters, because they just,
you don't even understand, like, you motivate me just to, just to support, to purchase a book. A kind word, man, that motivates me, man. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, appreciate that. Yeah,
because it's hard being like independent out here. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So like, I appreciate everything, man.
Right. Yeah, that's. I mean, because that's what it's all about. It's all about community and about inspiring, and it goes both ways. When you have someone like you writing, it helps me basically to pursue the purpose of what I'm doing, even with this program, because. The thing that drove me with the program, even though, my whole acronym for HIP living, when I say healthy, inspiring, positive living, I'm heavy on the inspirational part a little bit too. And me coming across your work was like, I need to have someone on the program that's doing some inspirational things.
That was powerful, man. Really
so it really works both ways.
Grateful, man.
And like you said, with the production company and everything right now, you work. Is there a particular project right now that you're promoting right now that you'd like to share with the people out there? And by the way, give some people some information on how they can go to your website.
Absolutely. But the project, my website is Against All Odds, odds with a Z, productions.org. Again, you can go to Against All Odds, and you spell odds, ODDV, productions.org. www.againstalodds with a Z, productions.org.
Okay, and you can also hit you up on Facebook.
Yeah, you can hit me up on Facebook under Manny Tribulations, MANNY Tribulations, and also the project that you asked about.
Right.
Man, I got this important film in my heart, man. I want to do.
Okay.
But of course, it's a film dealing with bullying.
Right.
I experienced that a lot in my life.
Okay.
And I can tell the story from a different perspective.
I got you. Okay.
And it's a story that I really want to tell. Okay. I won't say the title to it, but I promise you, people will be inspired by this film.
Okay.
And it's a film that is dealing with schools, so of course I have to get the schools involved. If I have to do it in like a classroom type setting. Right. So that's like the roadblock right now.
I got you.
Just getting like assistance.
Okay.
But yeah.
That's great, because that's something that's real relevant right now and it's very big. And like you said, when you characterize bullying, because sometimes when I hear people say bullying, it's like something missing. I hear what they're saying, because sometimes the stuff that when I hear people say bullying right now, kind of like, well, I don't know. But then again, as you pointed out, you coming from a different perspective.
I mean,
I kind of feel it when you're going with it a little bit, because you know.
I can come from a different. Why does the bully?
Right, there you go.
Why does the bully?
There you go.
That's my perspective.
Right, there you go. I got you. Because like you said, everybody, they say bad kids, but then again, you never go to that house.
What's the circumstances?
What's the circumstances that create that person?
Yeah, exactly. Because we so quick to look at the effect.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Like the results.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
As opposed to looking at what created. Well, we kind of winding down, man.
We had more time.
I know, that's what I'm telling you, man. This is very, very exciting to have you on the program, brother. And definitely want to encourage you to do some reading out there, and check his books out. Manny Tribulation, also known as The Ghost. You can hit him up on Facebook, and he has a a series of books that I encourage you to check out. Very heavy. Some of this stuff is very much in a way Richmond based, or it can be based anywhere for that much, to be honest with you. But as I pointed out to him, what I like about it is that familiarity, because some of the things that he does talk about does kind of similar to what's been going on in Richmond. And so definitely, and again, this is the last program of Hip Living, so I want to thank everyone for tuning in. I want to give some thanks to my director, Leroy Wilkins, for his help and doing a great job in making this happen. And definitely want to thank you, the viewers. Want to also thank Amy Green as well as Tasha Brooks for being on this episode of Hip Living. And definitely thank you, Brother Manny, for coming on.
Thank you, brother.
I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
And for those of you out there, have a great summer. Be healthy, inspiring, positive living, hip living.
The prodigal son has returned. I'm alive. The ghost is walking around.